In this video, we're going to see Democratic superstar Jasmine Crockett absolutely destroy Donald Trump and Republicans for their stance on immigration, as well as their double standard when it comes to crime. Now, make sure you watch this video all the way to the end and you see the exchange between Jasmine Crockett and Mayor Bear. It's going to be a must watch. Let's jump into it.
Chair recognizes Ms. Crockett from Texas.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and thank you so much to our mayors that are here. And I really quickly want to touch on something because I know that many of you prepared for today's hearing by making sure that you got a little bit of information about immigrants and crime in your cities. Let me ask each of the mayors, just yes or no, have any of you been made aware of any immigrant that has had 34 felony convictions that has still been able to roam around in your cities? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
34 felony convictions.
No, Congresswoman.
From the immigrants. Anybody?
I'm not aware.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious because we are so concerned about crime, and I know that my Republican colleagues would never want anybody with 34 felony convictions roaming around because that could be a danger to the community, but I will move on. The Republicans put more effort into producing their little propaganda trailer for this hearing than they have into reforming America's immigration system. And that's why we're here today. In fact, Republicans are beating up on the vast majority of you about what you're doing for your citizens, but the last time I checked, you're actually showing up. You may or may not be aware, but the NRCC just instructed Republicans to stop their town hall meetings because their constituents were showing up and telling them to do your jobs. If I had to sum up some of what you have said thus far today, I would sum it up as you have been trying to tell them as politely as you can to do their jobs. In fact, we know that they have not done their jobs, and so they're trying to force you to do it for them by turning your local law enforcement officers into ICE agents. They have this fake outrage about how immigrants are stealing resources and jobs from Americans when residents of Boston, Chicago, New York City, and Denver are subsidizing public services in their districts and their states because the Republicans refuse to ensure that their constituents earn a livable wage. Look, they don't have a plan to fix immigration in America because they don't want to. Mass deportation isn't a plan. Arresting kids in schools or worshipers in church isn't a plan. But there are important points to discuss as it relates to immigration in America. So, Mr. Beer, in January, you testified before the Judiciary Subcommittee on Immigration, Integrity, Security, and Enforcement. During that hearing, we played a little game called Rhetoric or Reality. Do you remember that?
I remember, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead for round two, why don't we? Rhetoric or reality? Immigrants are a burden to the American taxpayers because they deplete our federal resources.
That would be rhetoric.
Correct. In fact, the Congressional Budget Office estimates that immigrants will lower U.S. deficits by a cumulative $1 trillion and increase the U.S. economy's size by nearly $9 trillion over 10 years. Is that correct?
That is correct.
In 2023, 47 million immigrants paid nearly $652 billion in taxes, $58.1 billion in taxes alone into Texas. Rhetoric or reality? During his first administration, Trump improved enforcement of U.S. immigration laws.
He did not.
In fact, President Trump closed almost all immigration courts for removal proceedings, cut prosecutions for unauthorized entry by 87%, cut ICE removals to the lowest level in the history of the agency, and released 9,000 people with violent crime convictions back into our communities. Is that correct?
That's right, yes.
So rhetoric or reality? President Trump's immigration policies make American communities safer.
No, they don't make communities safer.
In fact, nearly 100,000 unauthorized immigrants have obtained legal status through their cooperation with law enforcement. And local law enforcement agencies have more than 300,000 pending requests for immigrants seeking legal status based upon their cooperation with law enforcement, according to the Department of Homeland Security. Is that correct?
That's right. Immigrants work with law enforcement to stop and solve crimes.
Thank you. That was one of my rhetoric or reality questions. Sorry. The question was immigrants without legal status can help stop crime. That's correct.
Yes,
right?
that's
All
correct.
And Mr. Beer, isn't it true that Republicans are threatening to illegally strip cities of law enforcement grants intended for local policing and public safety if they don't go along with Trump's immigration agenda?
That's right. They want to redistribute the fiscal burden onto the Democratic cities and away from the Republican ones.
Which brings me to my next point. Mayor Adams, do you believe that President Trump is weaponizing the Department of Justice against local governments like New York City?
As I stated publicly, thank you for the question, Congresswoman. And as I indicated previously, this case is in front of Judge Ho, and I'm going to allow the judicial process to go forward.
Well, let me ask it.
Wow, what a brutal takedown. Now, first and foremost, I apologize. I said Mayor Beer. It's actually just Mr. Beer. My apologies. But guys, what a brutal takedown. What a brutal takedown. Now, look, there's a few things that I want to talk about when it comes to this from Jasmine Crockett. Absolutely phenomenal, I must say. But first and foremost, I loved the way she started her monologue. I loved the way she started it, speaking about the hypocrisy. You know, Republicans, Donald Trump are so hard on crime, but they literally have a 34-time felon leading their party. Absolutely wild. I loved the way she done that, first and foremost. Secondly, the thing that I loved about what she spoke about just is when her and Mr. Beer was having the exchange, I didn't know a lot of these facts about immigration in the United States of America. Now, as an outsider looking in, the way that it is that it's portrayed from Republicans is just simply like every single aspect of immigration is bad and we don't want them here. That's how it is that it's put across. But when you're hearing these facts from actual individuals that do research, now, how do I know that I got Mr. Beer's name wrong? I'm actually on my other screen. I've got his Twitter profile up in front of me. And Mr. Beer is the Director of Immigration Studies. Okay, so he does this for a living, and it's his numbers, his facts that he knows, and Jasmine Crockett knows as well, that they're speaking about. Not only is is the things that they're speaking about facts, they just stated and proved that Donald Trump, his policies closing down, you know, immigration buildings and stuff like that, that has a knock-on effects to where it is that the immigration status within the United States is at today. Furthermore, immigrants actually help fight crime when it comes to crime in the United States of America. I didn't know these things. Let me know in the comment section below this video. Did you know this? I didn't. I didn't know this. And like I said, I'm an outsider looking into. You guys might have known this, but if that's the case and immigrants are beneficial to the United States of America, we already know that they're beneficial when it comes to things like agriculture. We can already see, is it Nebraska? Nebraska is on the brink of decline and closing down, plain and simply because the majority of farmers and whatnot that are in Nebraska, they voted for Donald Trump because of his stance on immigration. And as a result, all the immigrants are no longer coming to work and they're on the decline. Knowing all of this stuff, why is it that MAGA have still made the choices and the decisions that they have? They've effed around, they're now finding out, and all I'm seeing is videos of them crying online, begging and pleading for Donald Trump to change his stance and change his policies, but they knew what it is that he was going to do in the first place. Absolutely wild stuff. Jasmine Crockett, once again, like the Democratic superstar with a brutal takedown. And this is what I believe is going to be the answer for Democrats. This is what the answer is. The way that Jasmine Crockett takes the fight to these Republicans, to MAGA, not caring whatsoever what is said. More of this is needed. More of it is needed. Everyone that it is that I speak to here in the UK, when I speak to them about Jasmine Crockett, everyone says she's amazing, superstar, that America needs more of her. And it's 1,000% facts. America needs more Jasmine Crockett's. America needs it, without a shadow of a doubt, and Democrats need it. The Democratic Party, I believe, needs someone like Jasmine Crockett all across the board, taking the fight on the front foot, going out, doing the rounds. Doesn't matter what the media platform is, she's going there. That is what is needed. Utilizing her time within these committee meetings to actually draw attention to things that move the needle. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below this video. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And if you're interested in keeping up to date with an outsider's view on what's happening in the United States of America from a political standpoint, go below and hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you as part of the community, as part of the family. I really would. If you took value from this video, do me a favor as well. Go below, hit the thumbs up button. That's just going to help with the algorithm, help get this out in front of more and more people. We're on a mission to get to 10,000 subscribers. 10,000 subscribers that are interested in hearing an outsider's opinion, an outsider's view on the political stance in the United States of America. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.